All right, looks we're again, everyone. Welcome to Tuesday afternoon, and today I'm going to talk about the thing that we're all finding ourselves doing, whether we like it or not, which is that we're spending a whole lot of time on camera, whether it's on a Zoom meeting or in a conference call, or maybe you're FaceTiming with somebody. More than ever, we are, in one capacity or another, literally being forced to bring ourselves in front of a camera lens and to be communicating and interacting with people in this way that often can feel pretty non-normal, shall we say. And unless you've had a lot of experience doing this, it can be really daunting to show up in a way where you're actually, able to just be yourself, or to bring energy and to bring sort of a higher than normal amount of enthusiasm to whatever it is that you're wanting to talk about. And so this is the thing that I want to confront. And if you're taking it one step further, like all of the people who I work with, and you're actually using video and you're wanting to use video or live streaming to market yourself, to market your business, to connect with your audience, then it can be even like another level of intimidation. And so I want to talk about how anyone can show up to get on camera and really bring more energy with you when you do this. Because, I know we've all seen this, and maybe you've experienced it yourself, where you watch somebody's video that they've made and they're showing up, or you get on a Zoom meeting with someone, and the host of the Zoom meeting, at the start of the meeting, they're spending a lot of time basically frowning. And they're looking at the lens and they're frowning, and they're playing around with their computer, and they're going, oh no, what's going on over here? And are we on yet? And they're testing their microphone, and they spend like the first 2 to 3 to 5 minutes messing around. And their energy is full of, anxiety and fear that the whole thing is broken and not working. And if that's you, like if you show up with that energy, it's not super inviting. It's not really a very compelling thing to have people watch your video, nor is it a really great way to show up. So today I'm going to cover three basic things that you can do, that you can put into practice, and you can put these into practice right away, like right now. And you can do this both in between the times that you get on camera, but you can also use this as a practice of, okay, I'm about to get on practice, or I'm about to get on camera, so I'm going to do these 3 things as a way to get myself ready and to bring up my energy. And I promise you that none of these things involve doing jumping jacks or doing any of the sort of Tony Robbins, get your energy up. So if you're here and you're watching this and you're ready to jump in and learn these 3 skills of getting energized to get on camera and to show up with just more grounded, more centered energy anytime you're doing any kind of Zoom meeting, conference call, or even like stage presence of any kind, doing any kind of presentation. These are 3 things that you can practice that will completely help you out in showing up in a way that's much more powerful, much more confident, much more energetic, and much more like authentically you, in the way that you actually want to be in the world. So if you're here, just say hello. I can see all your comments here on my screen, and it's great to know that people are here. And while I'm going over any of these, if any of these 3 resonate with you, and you've got some idea, some light bulb goes off in your head, just write #AHA, that's AHA, #AHA, and then do a 1 line of whatever it is that is occurring to you while I'm talking. And I can bring your comment onto the screen, and we can have a conversation. We can have more of a conversation about that, because that's what these live streams are really all about. So where do we go? Okay, somebody's here, look. Hey, Phil's here, great, all the way from New Zealand, look at that. We're connecting. How many miles is it between Boston and Auckland? Or exactly wherever you are, Phil. I have no idea. It must be, gosh, I mean, that's probably pretty much about the opposite side of the planet as you can get. It's between where I am and where New Zealand is. That's cool. That's so great. So here's thing number one. This is the thing that you can do either like anytime to be in a place where you are going to be able to show up for people in a more energetic way. And step number one, it's going to sound really obvious, but step number one is relax. Just one word, relax. So I know that getting in front of a camera, even if it's as simple as you're getting on a Zoom call and you're just doing a one-on-one conversation with another person, getting in front of that camera can be a little bit anxiety producing. And so if you're getting on and you're letting all the issues of technology and the sort of the technophobia that can creep in around the edges around, oh my gosh, will this work? And you're thinking in your mind of those worst case scenarios that, oh, it's all going to break, or maybe it's broken now, or maybe my microphone isn't working, or whatever those things are, all that's thoughts. Before, before you go to the place of, okay, I'm going to push the button to get on, take a moment to just relax. And probably the best thing that you can do is take like 3 long breaths. And what I like to do is I'll literally sit still, I'll close my eyes, and I'll breathe in and I'll count like 4 or 5 slow second long counts on the inhale, and then I'll breathe out and I'll do the same thing. I'll breathe out 4 or 5 second long counts, and I'll do that 3 times. And you will be amazed at how this will center you and ground you and push all that anxious crazy making in your head out of the way. Even if you're only doing it for like a moment, it really helps sort of center you and get you into a better place than if you've been running around. You know, typically when we're getting ready to go on, you know, we're busily getting our computer together and we get our camera up and we get the lighting going and we get the microphone and we do all these things and we're running around. And this is kind of building on your anxiety. So after you do all that work, after you do all the things that you have to do to get set up, just take a moment, give yourself the time and space to breathe and relax and be calm, and be centered, and be totally cool. I know it's hard, but you can do it, and you'll be amazed. This is, of course, you can do this anytime for lots of things, but this will really help improve your relationship to getting on camera. Yeah, and I want to see who else is here. Oh, Deborah's here all the way from Ireland. Look at that. And Edward's here from Asheville, North Carolina. Look at that. Welcome, you guys. So that was thing number 1. Take a moment to breathe. Thing number 2 is then take a second moment to think of something that you appreciate about yourself. All right? And again, like this sounds really basic, but really try this out. And again, like you can practice this anytime in between the times that you're getting on camera, but it's especially helpful just before you hit the record button or just before you hit the Zoom, let's turn on the Zoom call button. Just take a moment and give yourself some appreciation. Like, what is the one thing right now that you're thinking about that you really appreciate about yourself? And that could be anything from just being willing to sit there and go live, you know, or it could be, you know, I really like the way my hair looks today. or I like my smile, or I like the color of my eyes, or whatever it is, just one thought that occurs to you in that moment. What's this one thing that you appreciate about yourself? And if you're thinking of this right now, go ahead and write in the comments. Tell me one thing that you appreciate about yourself and just stick it in the comments there. I'd be curious to see what that is. So thing number one was take a moment to relax. The way I like to relax is just to spend 3 breaths breathing in and out. Thing number two is give yourself an appreciation. Say, okay, here's something that I really appreciate about myself. And now there's a third thing. There's a third thing. And before I get to the third thing, I just want to share the inspiration for all of this. There's sort of 2 inspirations that I have to share. One of them is that I got this from there's this great book that is recently published that is called Love, Money, Love Yourself. I think that's right. And the woman who wrote the book, what I'm sharing with you, was how she was suggesting to people to improve their relationship with money. There's these 3 things. This is how you can improve your relationship with money. And I thought, well, yeah, and it's how you could improve your relationship with lots of things, including getting on video. So I immediately sort of took this inspiration and wanted to apply it to ways that we can use it on ourselves to basically enhance the relationship that we have and to bring better energy to the times when we're showing up. And of course, even if you're doing it like if you get really good at doing this on camera, just think about what you're going to be able to do the next time you're able to do an actual live presentation in front of real people. Or when you're like just sitting in an actual meeting with people, talking with them, before that meeting, if you are getting really good at this practice that I'm sharing today, you're going to be able to show up with much, much better energy. And any of the anxiety or nervousness that you would normally feel, that's going to be greatly suppressed. So, and the second thing that I wanted to share in terms of inspiration is that I was just over the weekend on Saturday, I went to my dentist. And I was sitting there and she didn't know what I do. And somehow it came up in the conversation where she was wondering like, what are you up to? And I told her about my work with video. And she immediately was going, oh no, I could never do that. And I think my dentist, she's a woman who is, I'm guessing, somewhere in her 40s. Like, let's say she's 42 years old. I'm not sure about this, but that's probably close. And she was saying, our generation is just beyond that generation of being really comfortable with selfies. So I've really never gotten used to being on camera. And I can hardly imagine, not only just taking a single picture, but actually having to speak to the camera. And I was thinking, my gosh, as this, and she's basically a holistic wellness dentist. So she has a lot of things that she could be talking about, a lot of things that she could be sharing in terms of the work that she does, a lot of stories to tell about the different patients that she's had and the work that she's done, and on and on and on. And her whole approach to wellness as it applies to dentistry is a whole bunch of really great stuff that she could be sharing that would help her stand out from all the other dentists that are in the greater Boston area. And so all I could think was like, well, if she were to learn these 3 things of practice, then she would, be able to be more confident and be more in a position of like, okay, now I can start to imagine how I would be able to get on camera. And it's people like her, the business people like her, who are basically running their own business, who at this moment in time are holding themselves back because they feel like they're not part of the selfie generation. It doesn't come naturally to them. And I just want to share these kinds of skills so that you can start feeling like, oh, actually, this could be something that would come naturally to me. I can develop these skills and I can start showing up on camera and I can bring my energy to it and I can be someone who people will appreciate in terms of when I'm sharing valuable information that will actually be helpful to them. So I just wanted to bring that into the conversation because I just think she's a really good example of a lot of people who I come in contact with who can see the value of doing video and doing video marketing and doing live video, but they still haven't crossed the threshold. They're still holding themselves back because they aren't confident enough. They're not ready. They don't feel like, I don't think that I'm the kind of person who could do this. So they're anxious. They're in some form of camera shy. So we're on to thing number 3 now. Are you ready? Let me just see who else showed up. Oh, Jill's here from Brunswick, North Carolina. Look, there's 2 people here from North Carolina. That's so great. And Diana is here from Minneapolis. That's so great. Jill says, voracious about learning how to manifest my passions. Oh, good one. Me too. Oh no, wait, my camera just went out. Hang on, you guys. Let me turn that back on. Coming to camera, turning it back on. Hang in there, I'll be right there. There we go, pink. And we'll go here. Yes, we're back. Sorry about that. I have to be really careful that if I knock the cord that connects the camera to my computer, it just goes boop. And you just saw that happen. So here's thing number 3. So we had relax, and then appreciate yourself. And then the third thing, and this is probably the most critical one and probably the most valuable thing that you can do. I try to do this every single time that I turn on my camera and start speaking. And that is, you ask yourself this one question. And that is, how can I be really generous in this moment? Okay, that's the question. Ask yourself, how can I be generous right now? Really generous. And if you frame what you're doing in that context of generosity, if you frame what you're doing in this act of, I am not going to worry about what I look like, what I sound like, what I'm going to concern myself with is I have something to give, that I want to be as generous as I can be. I want to see what the people who I'm talking to need from me or could use from me, and I am going to be generous. Like, let's pick this thing. It's like, okay, here is something that I have to give right now in this moment, and focus on that from the frame of, there's people out there who this is really going to help. And of course, if you come to the camera with that spirit, with the spirit of generosity, the energy that you're going to exude is going to be really different than if you come to the camera with like, oh, what are people thinking? What are they looking like? What do I look like? What if I sounded like an idiot? Like, if you come with that energy, that's totally different than if you simply show up and say, look, I have something, this is the thing that I'm sharing, this is the thing that I have to give. And I know that there are people out there who are going to be served well if they just hear this one message from me today, and show up with that gift, and some magic things will happen. There is this thing that's called reciprocity. And when you are being generous, when you are genuinely giving the things that you have, the talent that you have, the skill you have, the energy that you have, all of this stuff that's just you, the thing that you may think the things that you do are super simple and nobody cares about them, but actually usually the things that are the easiest for you are the hardest for a bunch of other people out there. And when you start sharing them, people will be grateful, and they will also feel this reciprocity. They will feel like they want to give back. And they can give back in a variety of ways. They can give back by sharing your stream with somebody, and you can ask them to. So if you've got people, like right now, you guys, depending on where you are, whether you're on YouTube or LinkedIn or Facebook, any of those platforms, you have the capability of sharing this video. And the best way that you can share it, and the best way you can ask people to share it, is to say, hey, I'd love it if you think you're getting value from this, this episode, this segment, this video, this presentation. If you know of somebody, and I bet you do, who is like my dentist, maybe you have a dentist yourself who's camera shy, you know, and you can think of that one person and you're connected with them on social media, then go ahead and share this video and tag them. Just tag them in the share. And they will see that you are sharing this message just for them. And you can even write a little thing to them and say, hey, you know, I saw this thing, it's just for you. I thought you'd really appreciate it. And this is one. And this gives you a chance to be generous and to pass that generosity on. And you're reciprocating my generosity. And so you can encourage the people who are watching your videos to reciprocate in this way. This doesn't necessarily mean that they are giving back to you if they do something like this, but they're also giving to other people. And the truth is, everyone likes to be generous. Everyone likes to help other people out. And in fact, you know, in our brains, we'll have like chemical kickoff and dopamine rushes from literally being generous and being kind and being open and being sharing with other people when we know we're giving things of value. So if you want to feel good on camera, if you want to feel really good, be generous, because by being generous and actually showing up and giving, then you will get that hit of dopamine. You will feel great. And if you're feeling great while you're doing it, your energy is going to be great. Your energy is going to be fantastic. And this is just one of the secrets of like, okay, well, how do I do this really well? Well, be generous. And this is the thing, like what I'm sharing with you today is that you can get prepared to do this. First thing is you relax. Like you try and take a moment and let go of any anxiety that you might have been feeling. You know, and gosh only knows that in this world that we're living in this moment of time, there's plenty of things for us to be anxious about. So anytime we can take a little moment of break in the day and break that and just breathe, that's going to be helpful. And then thing number two is give yourself a little credit. Give yourself some appreciation. And you're going, yeah, you know, this is something I really like about myself. This is something that I really appreciate about me. And from that place, say, yeah, and right now, what is that one thing that I want to do that's going to be really generous? What's the one generous thing that I can give right at the moment? And when you get to that place, you go through this little process, just before you hit record, guess what? You'll get that hit of dopamine. You're going to, wow, this is great. I can't wait. I can't wait to do this because it feels good. It just feels good when I do it. And this is one of the very best things that you could be doing on a consistent basis to help yourself show up with the best kind of energy. And this doesn't mean like you have to be over the top enthusiastic. You don't have to be jumping around. You know, you don't have to be giddy or funny or any of that stuff. You just show up with this genuine, heartfelt, here I am, and I've got something to give. And when you do that, and of course people are receiving it, they're going to, you know, and they reciprocate by actually helping other people, then the magic really starts to happen. And this is where you start to build some kind of a movement. You start to build a real community. You start to build people really helping each other out. So, yeah, those are the 3 steps. Let's see. Diana says, I love that a focus on generosity. Here, let me just show this so everybody can see it. She says, I love that a focus on generosity takes off the pressure of how I look and or sound. Exactly. Takes the pressure off. Boom, it's gone. Like, you know, and this is the thing of like, if you can, it's sort of where do you focus? And if you can focus through the lens to the people who you're talking to, or even through the lens to the people who may see your video in the future, who may not even be here on the live stream, but will come to it in the replay, or may see it because you send the link to your video out to your email list, and that's where they watch it. If you can imagine even one person who you know, who you're sending this to, great. Like, personally, I am going to take this video and I'm going to send it to my dentist, because she got really curious about the work I do, and she was going, you know, do you have a business card? Do you have anything like that? And I didn't have a business card with me, and I said, no, I don't have that, but I can probably send you something. So I'm going to send her this video, because this video is basically inspired by her. And, you know, and I just want to give it to her and say, okay, look, I made this for you because of the conversation that we had, because of what you said about not being part of the selfie generation. I just want you to know that you don't have to be a part of the selfie generation to show up with really good energy, that your people, your community, the people that you serve, all the different people who need to come to a really good local wellness dentist like you will want to come and hear from you. They'll actually want to, you know, see the things that you have to share, because, you know, even like in between the times that you see your dentist has stuff that could help you out, right? So let's see, let me go back here. I'll hide this message. And Edward says, that question resonates, right? How can you be generous, right? Simple, it's so simple. This is the thing that I love about this, is that these things, people think about like, oh, it's gonna be really hard. Like, I'm gonna have to really work at being comfortable and confident and, you know, looking really cool and collected when I get on camera. And what I'm sharing with you today, it couldn't be simpler. And you can put this into practice right away. Like, when I get off of here, starting now, you can just take a moment and relax, and then give yourself an appreciation, something you appreciate about yourself, and then ask the question, how can I be generous in my next video? And whatever comes to mind, make a note of it, and then you'll know what you're going to do for your next video. And then when the time comes, when you're ready to go for the next video, do it again. Like, relax just before, sit down and say, okay, I got everything set, I'm all ready to go. And before you hit record, breathe, you know, relax, take a moment, go, okay, I'm just gonna relax right now. And then give yourself a little appreciation, say, what thing I really think is cool is this, that I'm so willing to do this, you know, or whatever it is for you. And then ask the question, okay, how am I going to be really generous in this moment? And whatever comes up, even though you may have already planned something, things will, you know, this triggers your subconscious. And basically what you're wanting to go for here is you're wanting to align your conscious brain, which is doing all this thinking all the time, with your subconscious. And the problem that we run into, the reason that we hold ourselves back, the reason that we don't show up in the way that we could, the reason that us humans aren't as vibrant and as big and as powerful as we could be, is because usually we're really out of alignment between our conscious mind and our subconscious. Our conscious mind is preventing, it's got this super big filter on what the subconscious really wants and what the subconscious knows to be true and what our whole intuition knows to be true. And when we do exercises like this and we practice this on a regular basis, and then we follow through by actually doing the video, oh my gosh, the subconscious starts to go, oh my gosh, you're listening, you're paying attention to me. And when that happens, that's when your energy starts like taking off into the stratosphere. So I just want to see, right, I'm reading all these comments here. Right, so I'm going to show this one. Edward says, we put too much pressure on ourselves, especially about negative judgments from others. Just totally. Yeah, I did a whole live stream on this just the other day, last week. I was talking about Tyler Perry and the scene that he did on the Netflix show called Black AF. And that's what he talks about, is basically ignore the critics, like, including your own voice. Just pay no attention to those critics. Do whatever you can to just not, the trolls, the negative comments, the down, like on YouTube, they have down, and the down, is the, what do you call it? There's like an uplink, the like, and then their down one. And there's a down thing. And people, like, the thing that goes crazy. Here you are as a creator. Here you are as someone who is actually being generous, and you go to trouble and time and you're posting something on YouTube, which, everybody knows that it takes quite a bit of work to do one of these videos. And here you are doing that work in a relatively giving way. And somebody, no matter, like, people come through and they watch like the first 15 seconds of your video. Then they go, oh, I don't like this. And they go bonk. And they give you a down thumb. And then psh, they're gone. And it's so like dismissive. Yeah, to me, it's like, well, I think you shouldn't be able to, they should first of all just get rid of that down arrow. I mean, what good is it? But if they're going to have a down arrow, you shouldn't be able to give one until you've made your own video yourself. If you've never made a video on YouTube, then you should never be able to go to somebody and critique them with one of these down thumb things. I think that should be the rule. And let's see, Jill says, oh, you like the logo, face the camera. Yeah, that is in Canva. So I do all, like, I am totally not a graphic art person, but I had to come up with the name of my show. This is, welcome to Face the Camera. That's the name of my live series. And where I'm, the name of the show goes with what I'm doing. I'm helping people totally get in front of the camera. and all the things that come from doing that. All, building your community, showing up for people, being generous, taking your business to whatever level you want it to be, building a bunch of loyal, true fans, and serving in a way that, you can actually start serving people in this big scale way that goes beyond just in terms of sheer numbers, anything you could do in the real world. Like, we have the opportunity to reach the entire group of people who are in our target audience. We have that chance. And it's all at our fingertips. And all we have to do is be willing to show up and talk to a camera lens. That's all we have to do. So anyway, I created this. Let's see, I'm going to point to it here. I created this logo, and this was done in Canva, if you're interested in how I do that. And if you actually, Canva is free, but if you pay the monthly thing, I think it's like $9 a month, then you can do things when you make a design like this, which give it this transparent background. So I looked around for inspiration when I did this. And one of the places of inspiration was I looked at Saturday Night Live and the way that they have their logo with it's basically just their name, Saturday Night Live. And it happened to be that one of the versions of their logo used these kind of orangey gold coloration. And I thought, oh, I kind of like that. So I based this logo design, this one, a little bit off of what Saturday Night Live did. And anyway, that's where that came from. I created this, and then I'm using something called StreamYard, which allows me to do things like create a banner with a logo on it, and I can just stick it right onto my stream. Oops, I keep going the wrong way. It's here. It's the backwards world here. So yeah, that's how I did that. And right, there we go. All right, so we are now at 34 minutes in. So I am going live now 2 times a week. So it's Tuesdays and it's Fridays. So I'll be going live again on Friday afternoon. You can stay tuned for that. If you want to always get my stuff, there's a couple of ways you can do that. One is that you can go to my YouTube channel, just search for Brad Powell on YouTube, and you can subscribe to my channel where you go there. The other way to do it is you can get on my email list, and I will give you a bribe to get on my list if you're not on it already. The way to get on my list is go to my website, awesomevideomakers.com, and right there on the homepage, you will be invited to get my awesome video toolkit, which basically shows a list of accessories so that if you're setting up your home studio, these are the kinds of things that will make your videos look more professional. And that's free, but if you get the toolkit, basically you'll be subscribing to my email list, in which case I can send you announcements about when I'm going live. So yeah, there we go. And that's what I have for you today. So last little wind up here. This is for the people who didn't see the beginning of this video, and that is there's 3 ways that you could be bringing awesome energy to your videos. Thing number 1 is take a moment to relax. Just sit there and close your eyes and be still and count your breaths, 3 full breaths in and out. Thing number 2 is give yourself an appreciation. Just one thing that you appreciate about yourself so that you're going, yeah, okay, I feel good about myself in this way. And this will help take those critique voices and throw them out the window. And thing number 3 is ask the question, how can I be most generous in this moment? So that you're turning the emphasis away from you and onto your audience who you are here to serve. That's what I have for you today. Thank you so much for joining, and I'll see you Friday, my very next video.